commonly called necessity, they are employed, as it says in an old book.
Littérature européenne toujours, l'édition 2025 de l'EUPL, prix de littérature de l'Union européenne, a révélé ses mentions spéciales et sa lauréate le 16 mai 2025 à l'occasion de la foire du livre de Prague. La lauréate est italienne, elle s'appelle Nicoletta Verna et exerce la double casquette d'autrice et d'éditrice pour la maison Giunti, l'un des plus importants groupes éditoriaux italiens. Avant de remporter l'EUPL, Nicoletta a écrit un autre roman, Il valore affettivo, lauréat de plusieurs prix prestigieux en Italie. Il a également été récompensé par une mention spéciale du prix Italo Calvino, attribué, vous vous en douterez peut-être, à des textes écrits dans l'esprit expérimental du grand fabuliste italien. Le roman lauréat de l'EUPL, I giorni di vetro, que l'on peut traduire très rapidement par Le jour de verre, est publié aux éditions Einaudi Stile Libero. Pardonnez mon accent italien. Il raconte l'histoire de Redenta, femme née en 1924 dans une communauté superstitieuse qui la considère comme un porte-malheur en raison de la polio qui la frappe. Elle va survivre à tout cela, y compris à la polio, et grandir dans une Italie en pleine montée du fascisme marquée par l'assassinat de Matteotti. Sa vie est traversée par la violence du régime, de la guerre et de la domination masculine. Dans son enfance, elle est promise à Bruno qui disparaît mystérieusement. Plus tard, elle sera contrainte d'épouser le hiérarque fasciste Vetro, un homme sadique qui la soumet à des sévices abominables. Son destin croisera finalement celui d'Iris, une rebelle du commandant Diaz, révélant des secrets enfouis. Vous l'aurez compris, ce roman oscille entre histoire avec un grand H et histoire personnelle, mettant en lumière la manière dont la première influence la seconde. Résistance féminine, violence politique et quête de liberté traversent ce roman que nous pourrions bien découvrir en français dès l'année prochaine, comme Nicoletta le révèle en fin d'entretien. Du côté des mentions spéciales du prix de littérature de l'Union européenne, ce sont l'irlandaise Sheila Armstrong pour Falling Animals chez Bloomsbury et le belge Philippe Marchewski pour Quand Cécile au seuil qui ont été récompensés. Et maintenant, écoutons Nicoletta Verna. Hi, Nicoletta. Your novel mixes intimate personal stories with major historical events such as fascism, war. How did you work? Did you conduct specific research or draw inspiration from real testimonies for this book?
Yes, the novel shows what happens when the big story, the story of the big world, affects the lives of ordinary people. To do this, I had to enter in the small town of Castrocaro and try to understand how it works. And it was necessary to document the daily life and events of Castrocaro, the little event of everyday life. And I used lots of oral testimonies. Castrocaro was my father's village, and I recorded many family stories. And my grandmother, my mother, and my uncles, all had very good memories. Secondly, I collected written sources, diaries, stories, chronicles. I have read lots of diaries written by people who were involved in the war, as well as the letters of soldiers collected, for example, by Nutrevelli. This helped me to understand how ordinary people felt about fighting, what their fears were, and how unaware they were of the fact that they were facing a conflict much bigger than themselves. This creates, I think, a picture of what life used to be like, the simple people and their daily struggle to survive. And all of this is happening under the rule of a fascist dictator.
And the character, well, that's what I've read on the EUPL site because your book is not translated into French yet. I've read, according to the extract, that the character Redenta is seen as unlucky from birth. Yet she survives polio and endures extreme violence. How did you craft this character? Did you intend for her to become something like a symbol of resilience against multiple oppressions.
That's right. Redenta is a quite modest and very poor woman. She was born after healer cast a spell. The healer said that would have an unlucky life in the village, and the villagers think she's dumb. But Redenta has the gift of charity, of being a good Christian, which gives her a wide and deep understanding of the world. It also lets her show kindness and make things better for herself and for the people around her. So the name wasn't chosen randomly. It shows the destiny of the main character, but also the destiny of all the people. And the character of Redenta was inspired by Idaramundo, the main character in the story, uh, which is a very important figure in Italian literature. Idaramundo is a very poor woman and a pregnant woman, haunted by her past and like a desperate mother trying to protect her children and all the people she meets, and she never loses sight of.
Male violence, both physical and political, permeates the novel. Do you believe literature has a duty to expose history's silence, particularly those of women?
Yes, of course, literature can and must break the silence, even when this hurts or is disturbing, I think. The choice to describe violence without making it seem attractive or making it seem better that it was, it's a choice very strong in the reading of the novel. I realized that some may be very strong and upsetting, but the aim is exactly to show how violent can lead to terrible things. It uses the word to show what happens when someone stops being kind and cruel. For example, the Addis Abeba massacre, that is a very important part of the novel, is a true story and that is often forgotten in Italy. Colonialism in Italy is a very obscure page of history. I would not have thought it right to make it less horrible. I had to show how terrible history was and how tragic the characters were and how they suffered and made choices that hurt them. And another big theme of the novel is violence against the woman. In the last century, Italy was a very misogynist place. It was normal for a woman to be beaten by a husband at the time. And people used to think that if a woman was beaten, it was a fault. The idea of victim blaming that nowadays, luckily, is normal, wasn't normal in Italy in the last century. So I needed strong and harsh words to describe this abuse. And I had to be like that. I had to find other words to explain this terrible problem.
This book, in Italy, I'm sorry for my Italian accent, I giorni di vetro.
Perfect.
Very good. Thank you. Won the Manzoni Prize, which is very important in Italy. Do you think historical fiction also helps us to have a better understanding of contemporary issues, such as we witness all around, authoritarianism and feminist struggles, for example?
Yes, I really think so. And I think that historical novel has two similar but apparently opposite effects. On the one hand, by making the story happen in the past, in this historic novel seem more objective. The present is always changing, full of doubt, but the past is always the same. It's fixed. So this lets the writer show a universal theme by looking at him for our day, as if it wasn't about his own time, his own time. At the same time, history makes things seem more obvious. Talking about the big ideas in literature and putting them in the context of the past, let's also show how they are still important today. So when we talk about violence, we often see that the worries and problems of today, violence against women, for example, or violence in institutions like schools and hospitals, violence in families, and the hidden violence of hate speech, that is a very, very important problem of nowadays. So talking about the violence of the past also a question the more and structural violence of our time, I think.
You're also an editor, not only a writer, but how do you view the evolution of contemporary Italian literature, especially in addressing these specific themes?
Yes, recently many Italian novels have been published that are about fascism. These include, for example, M series by Antonio Scurati, who won the Strega Prize, and it's a very important novel of the last years in Italy. So there can be, I think, many reasons for this interest of the literature in fascism. Italy, unlike other European countries, has never properly addressed its fascist past. I think we have talked about colonialism, for example, before. So I think it does things that politics often doesn't. It shows us the gray areas, ambiguities, and hidden traumas in life. In a society that often has quick and simple stories on social media, for example, or politics and entertainment, maybe literature takes time to deal with difficult issues. So modern stories often deal with the issues like fascism and violence to help readers understand what it means to be a citizen and a moral person in today's world. It can be a reason, I think.
And you have won the first prize of the EUPL this year. What does this prize represent for you, even if it's very recent? What did it bring yet?
It's a unique, wonderful, and unexpected opportunity. I am very happy to have received this award. And it is a big honor for me as an author and for the story and the words I have tried to use. I'm very happy to know that thanks to this prize, my novel will be able to be published in other countries. Literature is a bridge between cultures and human experience. They are very different, but they can and must still be connected. So I think that I thank the jury, the readers, and all those who believe in the power of fiction to change people's life and to make people closer, like EUPL do.
Thank you very much for this insight in your themes, your writing and ideas, and thank you for letting us discover who you are. And I hope we will read you in French soon.
Yes, I think it will be published in next year by Gallimard. So if you like to read it, you will can. And I think that my Italian is better than my English. And